Wait. I know what you're thinking. This F2 beef is old news, and I don't disagree with you, but in the past week or so, there's been new information that's come out that's really ignited the drama once more. And in all honesty, no one really cares about this beef. It's actually entertaining and interesting just to look behind the scenes at what went on, and mainly because we get a shit on Jeremy some more. He calls himself Swaz. If that doesn't tell you how much of a bellend he is, I don't know what will. But the reason why more people are talking about this beef in the past week or so is because Stephen Tries went on the Jackmate podcast for like an hour and a half talking about everything to do with him, and they also spent a large portion of that time talking about the Wembley Cup and Jeremy Lynch. But what most of the stuff that Stephen said on the podcast we already knew. It wasn't really anything new for us to talk about, but since then, in about the past week or so, there's been videos coming out of people actually in that bar scene where Stephen is having beef with Jeremy and some knobhead called Man Like Hacks, which if you haven't heard of him, I don't blame you. I hadn't heard of him either before this incident. And this is the video that came out a couple days ago on Twitter that's got everyone talking. And you may have seen this video before because there are numerous YouTube videos that have this clip in, but most of them are just absolutely dog shit, and they just subtitle it and add shitty memes over the top, and you can barely hear it, so there's no point even watching them. Just watch this video, it's just a whole lot better. Because with this one, you have none of those terrible memes, it's higher quality, it's up close and personal, and you get to see a lot more. It's just a whole lot better, and you just get so much more from this video than the other shit ones.
I don't want to call you someone who's barely touching 70,000 subscribers, mate.
Hey, 70,000 subscribers, bro.
When you get that, mate,
you're so,
message
but
me,
you've got
okay?
no talent, bro.
Oh.
Where's your future going?
Mate, if you do a
Where's
tweet
your future
and
going?
you get 100 likes,
Fuck
maybe I'll
your
reply
tweet,
to
man.
you.
Fuck your tweet and your shitty bruv, you're dead. You're dead, bruv. Relax, man. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Of course I'm gonna get personal. Don't touch me, bruv.
Is everything alright? Is everything alright? I think you need to fucking calm the fuck.
And this is the backstage drama and beef between Stephen and the Swaz man himself, Jeremy Lynch, that we've all heard about. And if you couldn't tell, it was after the Wembley Cup by the way that Jeremy stood there with the fucking trophy. He's thinking he's just picked up the man of the match in the UCL final by the way he's standing and parading this shit about. And don't worry, there's a second video where you can see even more of that, which we'll get onto later. And what I love about this clip is that Stephen doesn't back down, decides to just roast him left, right and centre, saying to Jeremy, I don't want to call out someone who doesn't have 70,000 subscribers, there's levels to this. And knowing Jeremy and how much he loves numbers, I'm surprised he stayed quiet all the way to the end and didn't say anything, because that is his bread and butter. When he hears the word numbers, he gets a fucking boner and doesn't shut the fuck up about them. But this fucking Hacks guy, he got mad from that. That got under his skin, that got his temper going, and it just all kicked off between him and Stephen after that. He couldn't take being made fun of with his subscriber count, and he just went fucking ballistic. He also decided to say to Stephen, where's your career going, after he's been made fun of with his subscriber count. I don't know if he's okay, because everyone here knows who Stephen Tries is, even back then a couple years ago. No one knows who this prick is. He's probably come here as like bodyguard for Jeremy Lynch. Who the fuck is this guy? It's quite telling when after this incident, Stephen Tries has made so many more videos, got over 1 million subscribers, made multiple videos with the Sidemen, and no one's heard of this guy. This is the first time this guy's even been mentioned by, not only on YouTube and on Twitter, but his own family in those 2 years that has been passed. Throughout this 30-second clip, Man Like Hacks probably says a grand total of 10 words, and that's like, bruv, don't touch me and your channel's dead. That's all he says. It's just filler words to give his brain enough time to catch up and actually think of something to respond with. And you're just digging your own grave when you decide to start beef with Stephen Tries. He's the funniest guy on YouTube, and if you're starting beef with him, you're already at a loss. You're already 1-0 down. You have to think of something really fucking good to come back with. And when you say bruv and don't touch me as your only response, don't say anything worth a note, you've already fucking lost me. There's no reason to come in to try and start beef. And you're actually lucky that the true Geordie himself, Mr. Big Brian, comes in and stops this fucking beef, because you just get cowered over. He's towering above you, you have no fucking hope, and you're getting fucking roasted left, right and centre anyway. He's done you a blessing there, you should be thankful for him. But just look at the true Geordie come storming in, Big Brian himself. He's like the second coming of Christ, coming here saving Stephen and saving everyone else really from the fucking embarrassment you must be feeling from standing around Man Like Hacks. It lowers your IQ and makes you instantly dumber to be associated with him. He's done everyone a favour here. And there is more to come. I did tell you there was a part 2, and there's a longer version here of some before and after that clip I've shown you, but there's no point fucking watching it. It's full of laugh tracks and fucking memes. Just look at this bullshit. There's no point even watching this. You can't hear what they're saying.
Regardless of being at home,
What the fuck does that mean, regardless of being a homophobe? You just admitted that you're homophobic. No one in the video even brings that up. No one says it in the comments either, so we just pass it off as just something that happens. It's just something that man like Hacks is. Everyone knows it, so they just don't even say anything. All jokes aside though, I don't know if he's homophobic or not. He did say regardless of being a homophobe, which I assume is in reference to himself because Stephen wasn't being homophobic, so why would he say that? He might be drunk, we don't know. I'm trying to save face here and try and cover for him because he's standing there with his little fucking vodka coke, I assume. He's not just going to be stood there drinking coke and saying this, is he? So on to the main part 2, and I'm sorry, you're going to have to watch a TikTok for this. Unlucky, but it's the only real way that we're going to watch the second half and what actually followed after the original 30-second clip. And if you managed to decipher anything from that fucking audio clusterfuck of that video, then good job to you. You need a fucking medal. Because all that I could really decipher was Mr. Hacks calling Geordie a fat fuck, and that's really it. There's not much in that clip. It's mainly the final 15 seconds of Jeremy parading around the trophy like a World Cup final that I want to talk about. The trophy's on the floor fucking brute because he's been parading it too much. He probably shagged it in the toilet because he couldn't fucking let go of it. And I don't really care that he's celebrating winning a trophy in this, like in this little tournament. Yeah, fair play to you. But the problem I have with it is that this is for charity, by the way. All this was for charity and he's acting like it's a full professional competitive tournament when it clearly isn't. He's beefing with Stephen Troyes, a fucking comedian, and he's trying to act like it's the biggest tournament in the world he's ever fucking played in. You would think someone who came through the Arsenal Academy and was the best on the ball player in the Invincibles era would think better than that. But the best part of this little trophy parade by Mr. Swaz himself is that no one even paying attention to him. They just all walk past and fucking ignore him like he's a fucking kid. It's like they're just used to Jeremy showing off and making everything about himself, and they just don't pay him any attention, which is actually a good thing. They're doing the right thing by ignoring this prick. Like, mate, you weren't even the best player there and you're acting like you turned in a man of the match performance with the way you're celebrating. You're the only one celebrating, by the way. His whole team won, but it's just him. That goes to show the type of person he is. But who knows? Not to put my tinfoil hat on or anything, but this could all be fabricated, and I'll explain why. Like I said, everyone in this video, from Jeremy himself to Stephen and Brian, we've all heard of what they've done in the past 2 years on YouTube. But what about man like Hacks? This is the first time anyone's even talked about him for 2 years. Maybe he decided to bring all this up just to get some fame. Ever thought of that? It makes sense though. He was never relevant to begin with, so why wouldn't he bring up some 2-year-old beef to try and make himself relevant? Nah, all jokes aside, this has just come out in the light of the recent podcasts and the videos and tweets that have been coming out regarding the whole incident. Jeremy's still a prick. Man like Hacks, we've never even heard of you, but we do know that you're a hype man and a yes man for the F2. You're also by association a prick by default if you weren't already a prick from seeing these videos. But that's my take on the situation. It's the coldest take you could ever fucking have, and that's saying that Jeremy Lynch is a complete and utter grade A bellend. That's not new, and everyone pretty much agrees with that to begin with. And the next dish is always going to be served rock fucking hard and cold with saying man like Hacks is also a bellend. That's not anything new. It is new if you've never heard of him like myself, but we would have known that anyway with him being friends with the F2. But if you want to deep dive right into the shithole that is the F2 beef, remember to watch the recently uploaded Spencer FC video where he talks all about it on a 1 hour long type podcast video where he goes into even more detail and just discusses his point of view from being an organizer of the tournament. It's a great video, and they did talk about some new stuff, including that they got an email from one of the organizers about one of the matches being stopped early while the F2 were playing, and they got a piss up about that. They got fucking ballistic that happened to them. They may make a video discussing that in about a week or so, but as things stand, that's all we have now regarding the F2 incident and how much of a proper bunch of bellends they are. That's a bit unfair, really. Willie Bingrave seems alright. It's just mainly Jeremy that gives the F2 a bad name. He's the prick. He's the grade A bellend. Seems like everyone else and Billy is completely fine. But if you're an F2 fanboy or even the Swaz man himself, Jeremy Lynch, remember to dislike the video and comment down below why you hate me and the video. But if you're a normal human being and hate Mr. Man like Hacks and Jeremy Lynch, remember to like the video and subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one. I'll see you next time.